Hello world. Patricia O'Connor and Frida Reba Darcy here today on the bonsai balcony. We're going to do a little bit more rehash and a little bit more pruning. I'm going to go through here. First of all, this was going to be Saturday night bonsai that we missed. Oh, I'm skipping ahead. Beautiful day here in Alameda, California. It is cool, probably in the mid to upper 60s. I'm still finding broken, wounded pieces on the bald cypresses. Also, our weather has been ping-ponging kind of back and forth between upper 80s and uncommonly pleasant. I mean, like just absolutely pleasant. And with that, the pollen and all the other stuff just is hanging in there, and it seems to be making hay while the sun's shining. And some of that has been, unfortunately, at my expense. I apologize for that, but we're back. But I was just looking at all of the raised little buds. Like, for instance, earlier we've got new buds breaking out all in here. Those guys are just noticing that they're hanging out and getting sunshine on them without any competition, and that kind of triggers them to bust out. Also, a little catch up on this. As you can see, we've got a wire on that guy. That happened like a week. I put a wire on that one like a week before the lights came down. And when I put the lights back up, I had to reposition this. It didn't break, but it was folded down with impact. This was also broken, cut it back. Still got this and this. That's pretty cool. We also did a top chop there, put a wire to it, turned it up. Was threatening to do that last week, I believe is where we were. We also did the same here, and now that's going up. Did I get ragged with that? No, I think it's okay. Yeah. And now this one is the same. It kind of leans back a little. And now all of the trees have a new leader selected. And I am starting to see, now I'm not going to say cause and effect directly, but this is exactly what I was hoping to see. I've got little green buds busting out, and these guys are busting out in places where we could use the filler. I think the direct sunlight probably hits those little bud sites and triggers them. I mean, I could be wrong. It could just be that I clip the end and then turn that branch straight up, which would, this is exactly why we do stuff like that. But I also think that it's cool that I'm seeing it in places where we're bare first. That's just, to me, that's just icing on the cake. Now, about the pieces that I saw down here that have damage, that's halfway through. That's halfway through that branch. So it's good to that node, and that branch is half of a bifurcated off branch where we cut it back last year. So it's not really any issue to prune that off now about where we would have been pruning that off later. At this point, there's no real reason. There's no real reason not to. But boom. So, and then a little clean back there. A little clean back there. Finding other stuff just hanging in here that's not living fronds that fell but didn't fall all the way through. All right, we're looking for the most part pretty good there. I'm also going through the garden, and I am I'm going through the garden and I'm cutting more candles on these little pine trees. We'll get to that in a minute. I'm kind of skipping around, but this was what we were going to do for Saturday Night Live bonsai. About 6 o'clock, I decided. Now, if you were to go back and look at last week's program, this was up there and out here. It was taking over a lot. So I was kind of thinking about it and I went, yeah, and it's also exchanging a lot of energy, which is good. And evidence of that is that I was watering it a lot. But we also we're experiencing a lot of dieback down here in the center where everything was just shadowed in and it's all starting to get cast off. So I was kind of iffy about it one way or another. The deciding factor for me was it was just overgrowing the space I have for it. So with that in mind, I turned it sideways to the way it is now, or whatever way it was turned in. It might have been already facing that way and then growing that way. I grabbed that guy and just had that pretty much right in my head, walked in and set that down on the bonsai table, and then sat down next to it and then proceeded to have vertigo and cause and effect. I don't think it was necessarily a bad pollen day. I think the reason that I brought that in was to cut back all that foliage. And I think all of that foliage had accumulated all that same sort of pollen that my body had decided that I was allergic to. So that wasn't a lot of fun. It wasn't the worst, but having already gone through the worst, it doesn't take much for me just to go, no, screw this, I'm going to go to bed. You'll just go to bed rather than hang out and try to fight it, which is kind of what I did. But the other side of that is the ability to sleep. I went to bed at 7 o'clock and pretty much stayed in bed. Well, I woke up and watched the Formula One races at 5 in the morning, but then slept until noon. So anyway, that did not save this trident maple from getting a pixie cut, and now all of this stuff is going to get light. The downside is kind of what I alluded to earlier. It's not moving water as fast as all of these guys, but this is a good example of where we cut this back late winter, early spring, and that vibricated off just like we wanted it to. And since then, I've cut a lot of that stuff way, 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 way back. But it's not moving water quite as fast. Sometimes this guy was getting water twice a day. It was moving so much water. But also our temperatures have dropped. And quite a bit of our trees that are frequently thirsty are kind of just taking it slow. This guy got watered yesterday late in the day. When I first checked on it early in the day yesterday, it was not quite that damp, but by the end of the day, it had finally looked like it could take some water, so I watered it, and it hasn't moved that water yet. This guy's ready to go. That guy's not ready to go. This guy is always ready to go. But that's the way it's going with this weather being as cool as it is. These ponderosas, this is a good example. Those little pots and that direct heating of those little pots. Plus these guys are so nicely suited for that, but they dry out really quick and they're ready to go. The Japanese black pine here is just getting greener and greener and greener in the spot that it's in, but it's not ready. Dawn Redwood's probably always ready. The wisterias are always ready. I'm thinking it's time to go through here and get a few more of these candles, which is why I have my scissors handy. Also, I was noticing some of the reaction to some of the buds that we've already cut. Just seeing those guys go through there with their little 6 buds or however many bazillion buds. And since these guys aren't in bonsai pots, I'm just always repeating the same source. Since these guys aren't really in bonsai pots, I'm not doing this to reduce, cut that further back. I'm not doing this to reduce needle length the way I would be doing this to reduce needle length if they were in bonsai pots and their roots were being restricted. Both being two parts of the of that process. In this case, these are our little seedlings, and I'm doing this to increase our bud count on the ends there. I can count on a flush of more buds right there on the end. Now I'm not cutting them. I've already alluded to this too. Not cutting the buds will also increase the bud count. But by doing it here, and now, we can say that in about 3 weeks, I will have a cluster of buds right there. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to jerk you around. I'll get that one when I can get to it better without it. I think you can probably already see this one got cut and there's already a nice little cluster coming out there. That guy back there got cut and there's already 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So I turned 1 into 6 there. And that's just going to increase the density. Cut that back all the way, Pat. I skipped part of this one. Okay. So that's a little bit more candle cutting of our pre-bonsai. Now, again, the reason I did this is to increase the amount of buds there on the tip. And this also helps us to control the height of these. I'm not doing a sacrifice branch on these on the ones that I just did that to for sure. So yeah, all right. So that's a little catch me up there. Dawn Redwood's looking good. Oak is looking good. The what's going on here with Simply P? Okay, Simply P. That's last year's needles are looking pretty tired and pretty bent over the winter. Our last little heat spell in October, those guys, it had a change of color and it took it a while to recover. The good news is this later growth is coming out stronger, greener, and it seems to be pretty happy. It seems to be pretty happy with this. The 17-year going on 20 years now from seed is looking good. Our ponderosas out here on the ledge are enjoying the sunshine. This guy is getting a little tall and starting to, I'm about to have to stake it up. Tonight, I have serious thoughts about bringing in 1 or 2 of these guys and doing some wiring on some of these guys. You know, like we like to do with our Cheerios and whatnot. I think the weather right now is pretty conducive to that. Meanwhile, this is one we did just recently. That was not too long ago. And behind it is another one. That's just so much. That is so fun to do. You can see the motion we got in that guy. It's already coming out of the ground and making movement. They're off to a good start, you know. When we do that, we're just getting them going on the right path. Yeah. Can I get my scissors out of my pocket without stabbing myself? Yes, she did. Boom. Thank you. Thank you so very much. All right. Yeah, I see a million. No, that's good. We'll get this guy too. Getting right in here in this. Try to keep your scissors closed until you get right. There you go. Right in there in that little dead zone. Boom. Gone, baby, gone. All right, like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. I think we'll probably either do a spot tonight where I might fold up a little Japanese black pine. We have so many cool little trees to fold up, and I think that's got us there. I think that's got us here. I don't see anybody that we're necessarily missing, and I appreciate you. Frida appreciates you. And during the day, while I'm waiting on this video to download, one of the things I threatened to do last week was I was going to remove the wire because I am concerned about the wire biting in here and in here. So rather than try to make a video, so to sit that tree on the floor and to shoot that, it's going to be difficult. And then to move down, and the move down is a different kind of difficult. And that's just, that's going to be my little Zen project for the day. But it didn't get done last time because I decided to do this and then take ill. So that was its 1 week reprieve. Also very encouraging. It's just got back buds going like nobody's business. And what I'll be doing today is removing all of that copper wire from all of its branches, and then we'll back out of there and let everything do whatever it's going to do in a relaxed kind of way. Also, you can see where we did our candles on these guys. They're all just, yeah, they're just going after it. So yeah, that's going to be my little bit of bonsai joy today. I don't think that would film well. So and with any kind of detail. So I'm just going to sit back and enjoy doing that on this beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you so much for watching. How about that, huh? Does that look pretty cool? Come on, Sky.